What is going on, IPA fans out there? Welcome back to another video of mine. I'm Josh, and I'll be doing something a little new this season. As for the followers of the IPA, you may know that Owen was the guy who would review the Magear's matches of the week, and he would review all the matches, including his. And I figured, hey, since Owen's out of the season, and since we don't really get a point of view as a competitor from a competitor this season, I figured I would take the spot. So I'm actually recording this on Tuesday evening. I wanted to do this on Sunday, and I never got around to it. And anyways, I'm gonna start off with my game. Not being biased at all, but I figured I may as well start the season off with my match, since I'm obviously the one that's incorporating this into my channel. Whoever decides to watch this, props to you, and I hope I can give you a relaxing and entertaining. Who knows how long this video will last? Owen's would normally last an hour, but I don't think mine will last that long. We'll see though. But as you can see on my team, I'm not gonna go over my drafts, but I'll for this week, typically for week one of leagues, you don't want to be too creative. You want to go what you drafted around as a basis, and you sort of just go from there. So I brought over my Zardex and I brought over my Celesteela, my two main picks of my draft, because the two of them together are an offensive core and a pretty good defensive core as well if you want to. But this week, since I didn't see Celesteela walling anything too well, I decided to bring an offensive Celesteela, as a physical offensive Celesteela actually, which gets 100% wall by man time, which is hilarious. DD Zardex, Never Melt Ice, Rapid Spin Cryogonal. I forget what I'm Babiri Berry Knee Lego to take a bullet punch and just bop with Mega Scissor with HP Fire, because believe it or not, non-invested BP does not do a lot with a Babiri Berry. A primarily mixed defensive Hippowdon and a defensive Togekiss to handle his I think it's handle Crook and such. And anyways, let's just get on to the game. Oh geez, hopefully this doesn't lag too much. I leave my Hippowdon because I just want to get rocks up, and I figured this thing can't really do too much to me, so he's just gonna click Bullet Punch, and it does about 18%, showing he's definitely more of a utility set. Oh, and I am Rindleberry, not leftovers, because I want to take a hit from Tapu Koko and hit it with an Earthquake if I'm able to. As I whirlwind them out into the Gudra, which damage is always good because after rocks and sand, he's guaranteed in range of a +1 D-Claw if he is a Bomb Berry. Anyways, at this moment in time, I realized my thing could definitely eat any hit, and as long as he doesn't click Earthquake predicting that, I was okay. As I was scouting for the Earthquake here, as I could have actually gone for the Power Gem plus HP Fire and killed him right there, but to no avail. I'm actually in a bad spot now, so I'm going to go into my Zard as he switches himself into Mantine, because I would live a Bullet Punch and Fire Blast would blow him away, so he doesn't want to risk it. At this point, I'm just going to click D-Claw. I kind of have expected the Toxic, and I could have gone to my Cryogonal or even my Nihilego, but to no avail. I just stand and take the Toxic like a man. What can you do? As at this point, I'm now just going to switch into my Nihilego, because I predict the Roost, and that worked out pretty well in my favor. As I click Power Gem and I get a crit, which is always pretty nice. Alright, sorry about that, I had to pause, but yeah, I get a crit Power Gem, which shows me that he is definitely a little bit of a more defensive, max defense set, not too spadef. Considering a stab, Power Gem did absolutely nothing, and I almost clicked Dazzling Gleam here, but I didn't see a reason to. I felt like it was unnecessary. I see leftovers, I see he didn't take anything from that Power Gem, so I'm really afraid of the pursuit, but luckily he doesn't click it, so my Nihilego continues to stay really healthy. As I go to my Togekiss, and he sets up the rocks, which is perfectly fine because I do have Defog on this Pokemon. Do I have Defog? Do I? I don't remember. Yeah, no, I do have Defog. As I get rid of the rocks and the Mantine comes in, and this Mantine is one of the few things stopping my not my Zarkatry, my freaking Celesteela from sweeping. Because obviously once this thing goes away, he doesn't have a great steel. He actually doesn't have any steel resist besides Scizor, which I do have Fire Blast for. So that'll always be good. He will live a Fire Blast though, because he told me that he was more spadef after the game. So I have to get some chip damage in order to put him in range. As he actually goes into Scizor here, as I almost clicked the HP Fire, but it was not necessary. As I could have predicted the U-turn because you can't really afford for my setup sweepers to come in, but it's okay. Even if he goes into Top Coco, I have a pretty decent answer. As he goes into Flex Tape, the meme, if you haven't seen that John Charm video, I recommend you do. As I go into my Hippowdon, it's meant to handle this thing. He clicks Nature's Badness, which is a pretty good play on this part, and it's a good move to have on his part since it obviously provides a guaranteed 50% on most things that are on at full HP. And even if they take in chip like rocks, it'll do 44 and such. You get the point. As with the Rindo Berry, I do take this Grass Knot. I choose to click Slack Off here because I do want to be somewhat healthy. And I find out with that damage, that Grass Knot will be doing around 57% to me. So I can play around that. As at this point, I actually was going to go into Knee Lego because the stand of Grass Knot does absolutely nothing to me. But I get the upper hand here, and I'm able to get myself into position on the Mantine. As I click Power Gem, do 51%, and he's going to click Roost because he knows he can take Power Gems really well after seeing the damage earlier from a crit Power Gem, which barely did 88%, which is actually ridiculous for something that's not even invested into Spadef. At this point, I click Power Gem, and this thing is 100% in range of HP Fire now. It already was at 14% to be honest. And like I said, he doesn't really have the opportunity to click Bullet Punch because I have two very potent setup sweepers in Zardex and Celesteela. And his Goodra was not Assault Vest, it was actually Choice Scarf Goodra, which is interesting. So he couldn't really afford to click Bullet Punch, so my Knee Lego, even though it would have lived, is still very, very, very healthy, which is fantastic, as I get the +1 special attack boost. As he's going to go into Tear, and he makes the really good play in doubles. If I would have stayed in and clicked the Power Gem, I would have been in such a good spot, but he played me there. He realized I had to save my Knee Lego for its very good answer to Coco, since he doesn't seem to have Wild Charge. He seems to be full special, but anyways, I realize Sand is up, so Skull's actually going to bounce off me and I don't get burned, so I don't take any residual. So at this point, I just get so much offensive pressure on his team. If he goes in the Crocodile, he's in range of my Dazzling Gleam, which is, he might not know I have Dazzling Gleam, but he has to keep that in mind. As at this point, I'm just clicking Power Gem, hoping for another crit. As at this point, I realize I don't want to play this game anymore. The chances of me getting a crit again are next to none, so a poison on this thing would actually be my best option at this point. As on this Sludge Bomb, I actually do get the poison, which is fantastic because now I can actually win the war with the poison, since obviously he'll lose 6% every turn after leftovers. And at this point, I'm just going to click Power Gem as he goes back into the Goodra. It takes a lot more than it should for something that has like 150 Spadef, so I definitely know he's not Assault Vest anymore. I go to my Togekiss. One of the best answers I really do have to this Pokemon is he clicks Draco, and he switches out here. During the game, I actually couldn't tell this was Scarf, and he definitely played it as it was, but I didn't understand why he was Scarf, because he would bank on me bringing a very, very, very slow DD Zard just to revenge kill it, and that's the only thing I could really see Scarf Goodra being important for, but that's just me. As you'll see, actually has a very defensive Crocodile, which might have also been his check. As at this point, I click Air Slash, and he thought I didn't have Air Slash. He thought I might have had fire coverage for the Scizor, but this wasn't my check to Scizor, since I had around 3 Pokemon which can kill it by themselves, so I didn't feel the need to do so. And at this point, this is obviously one of his win cons, as he clicks Home Claws, and I kind of realized that I have to be wary of something that's going to pop out from this thing, so I have to get damage off, as I have to get damage, and I live the edge because I'm very, very bulk. I'm invested into my defense. As he says that if he would have gone for 2 edges, he would have gone for +2 Home Claws, he might have actually been able to sweep, but my Celesteela lived any hit at +2, so I don't think that really mattered. Unless he got the crit edge, in that case, that would have probably won him the game, but anyways, here I click Autotomize in case he decides to stay in, because I do live an edge and I would be able to get a +1 boost up on it. And at this point, I want to count the damage, because if he's defensive, Knockoff will just bounce off me. You'll find out I'm a Z move here, which is fine, and I get to gauge the damage of my Heavy Slam. And I find out he's very, very bulk invested for my Zard, which is a pretty good bring on his part. It's very smart. At this point, I'm going to go into my Hippowdon, because it can really take any hits from this thing, since I found out he's really defensive, and most likely he would click Knock. And at this point, I'm going to get my rocks up, because This forces him to send out his Aerodactyl, which is actually really good. As at this point, I figured, oh, I can just whirlwind this thing out because I live in Aquatail, but it turns out he's Flying Z Fly, and I just died to that. So good bring on his part. I didn't expect that at all. Mainly because Z moves don't have a limit on Z moves in the IPA. You can run any Z move with any mon, which is I don't think it's broken by any means. I actually think it's kind of fun. So and he definitely took advantage of it there. So good play on his part. This was a play that kind of sucked for him because I click Atomize here as he misses an edge, and Stone Edge 100% guaranteed put me in range of knockoff from Crocodile, and because of that, he doesn't get any damage on me, and that pretty much sealed the deal at that point. He can go into his Crocodile, but I do have the his Z Heavy Slam, which will just like absolutely knock this thing back to another dimension, which is always very nice. As I click the Z move here, and I get a really good chunk of damage, as that proves how defensive it is, because that's a Z Heavy Slam, and I wasn't -1, that was neutral, and I did nothing. And the second Heavy Slam will kill him, and at this point, Coco will die to an Earthquake, and Goodra dies to any physical move I have in my arsenal. This will definitely die to Heavy Slam. This died to Heavy Slam at around like 70-something%. This thing is a monster. As at this point, he goes into his Flex Tape. I could have clicked Heavy Slam to finish the game, but I wanted to show off Earthquake, and that'll be a good game to Gareth. It's actually, I think this is the 3rd time we played him, and yeah, that's well played on his part. Celesteela, proving why it's Celesteela. Really good Pokemon. Gypsy King has obviously been a prime example of how Celesteela is like definitely one of the best Pokemon in League at the moment. It could do so many things as a defensive and offensive Pokemon, and when you have an entire team to back it up, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, very good start for us. Obviously, we're the defending champions of Magear, and we wanted to try to be the first since Owen to have back-to-back championship wins, which that would definitely be an accomplishment. Anyways, next game we are going to have Ethan versus Jarret, one of our mods of the league. Very long time battler as well. He's both really impressive battlers though. So yeah, we'll get into the battle right now. So 3, 2, 1, boom. So anyways, they both actually lead off with their Megas. As you'll see, this is Mega Zam and this is Megazard Y. As immediately Ethan shows off the tech and shows off the HP Rock and blows away this Charizard, and great start for Ethan, as at this point he's going to go into his Kieran Black, and Ethan makes another great play as he clicks Fusion Bolt. So at this point Jarret is just not off to a great start at all. He already lost his Mega, and looking at his team, it was definitely one of his win cons, as it definitely did break his team very well, as Zard Y typically does. And now Ethan has very good offensive momentum with his Excadrill, since as you can see, Jarret does not have a single ground resist, and not the best Iron Switch Insider, since obviously his Steel type is a Empoleon, and his Electric type, which obviously does resist Steel, is a Heliolisk. So it ain't looking too good for Jarret. As he sends out the Hariyama, proves to be a very defensive Hariyama, which is definitely interesting, to say the very least. And he's going to try to predict the double, but he is actually Z ground, and he gets a crit and blows away this Kieran Black. So once again, Jarret repeating the theme that he's just not off to a great start. Now it's 6-4, and it's just not looking very good. He lost his Kieran Black and his Zard Y, which, looking at his team, definitely looked to be his win cons. At this point, I don't really see much of a win con in his team, since this is defensive Hariyama, and his Heliolisk and Donphan are most likely utility. But Jarret always has a plan in the back of his mind, so you can never count him out. So we're going to see what happens, as he definitely he doubles into the Donphan, as even once again gets offensive momentum, and he gets a free Veil essentially, and Earthquake just bounces off, meaning that's definitely more of a utility Donphan. It declicks Nasty Plot, and Ethan's not actually he's not gonna stay in here, as he actually goes into Suicune, as Jarret collects the Toxic. So he's able to, I guess he really just hard read that Suicune coming in, and he's able to catch the Toxic on that, meaning he can't just Calm Mind and win the game. As Ethan's not going to double back into his Excadrill, and Jarret, knowing that Suicune generally cannot do too much to the Empoleon, unless he's Calm Mind Rest, which obviously he could be. He does realize that the rocks are essentially free, but with Heliolisk in the back, Suicune, as Toxic can't really do too much unless he is obviously a different coverage move such as Ice Beam. But if he does have coverage, he can't really be Rest Talk with Calm Mind, obviously. So Jarret realizes he's in a comfortable position to just set up rocks, and which is definitely very good versus the team. As Jarret also showing off that he has the Sugar Berry, and he's going to get the Scald Burn here. So this is able to put some momentum back into Jarret's side. Try to lower some differential if he can, as even makes a good play and gets his rocks up, which is really good while getting the spin off, as he's willing to realize that his X Control isn't the most valuable Pokemon. Look at the rest of his team. So he's now going to go into his Alakazam and essentially claim a kill, since Alakazam is an absolute beast of a Pokemon. As Psychic does 26% to his Empoleon, which is insane, as that just sends it packing. As he's not going to send out his Donphan, as even gets a crit on this thing too, which is unfortunate, but it looked like Psychic was a 2-hit KO anyways. So it didn't look like it mattered too much, as now he's going to go into the Black Hole Sun. This probably confirms it to be Scarf, as he definitely shows he is Scarf because he outsped the Alakazam. And at this point, he's going to go into his Entei, and he actually decides to click Flame Charge over, I guess, Sacred Fire. And Jarret actually proves to have the thick fat facade for when he gets burned by Sacred Fire, which is a very, very cool tech for sure. But at this point, it's looking very, very bleak for Jarret, as at this point he's just trying to get differential points, because obviously he has a defensive Hariyama and a Heliolisk, which, don't get me wrong, looks like it could do some work late game, but it's definitely not looking too fresh. As he's going to click Sub once again, as the Hariyama is just going to continue to click Close Combat, which is definitely very interesting. That the Suicune is going to go down to a very low percentage, 33% to be exact. As at this point, Jarret's going to make a really good play. He's going to predict to Suicune. He's going to predict this. I mean, I guess this wasn't a good play. It was just a very smart play on Jarret's part to predict. It was a very smart play on Jarret's part to get momentum with his Heliolisk to get a kill right there, which is really smart. But at this point, as you're going to see, this is the Salamence is going to click Dragon Claw, get a +1 boost, and kill the Hariyama, and that'll be a good game. So Jarret was able to make something out of nothing after probably one of the worst starts I've ever seen to a league match in a long, long time. So props to Jarret. Did really well, making it only a 3-0 loss, and to even definitely looking like a really busted team. You have Megazam, Mant, Suicune, and Entei under Veil. Not to mention, a Ninetales by itself is a really good Pokemon, even without Veil. And obviously, you got the Driller, which is a pretty good utility mon, and a great mon, even without Sand, obviously. So, even definitely a threat to watch out for, as for Magear, obviously. And good game to the both of them. Anyways, next is Brett. Yeah, Brett was actually making he's making his debut Magear match for the first time in a good amount of seasons. I don't remember the last time he was actually in Magear, because this is only my second season in the IPA, so I don't actually know too much of the history. But I definitely do know that in the early days of IPA, he was definitely a well-known player. And anyways, Brett's opponent this week is the other Josh, actually, the Black Josh. And as you can see, he has a Miltank and a Pikamuku, so this is definitely going to be interesting. But he also has Lottie, Weavile, and Nidoking, a very, very strong wall breaker core for sure, and Rotom Heat just to fill out the utility spot, because Rotom Heat is a good little oven of a Pokemon. And Brett rocking a very interesting team of looking like screens with potentially Z setup Hoopa and maybe Agility Ampharos, and you have mons such as Uxie and Tentacle for support, and Darmanitan to just break walls. So anyways, let's go in the match in 3, 2, 1, and go. So anyways, Brett's gonna lead with the Darmanitan and get some momentum, as he leads with the Organic Dildo, the Pikamuku, which might be the greatest name of all time. As he clicks Toxic, as he clicks Baton Pass, which is really cool about Pikamuku. He gets one of the slowest forms of initiative with the Baton Pass, obviously. And Josh makes a really aggressive play and goes into his Nidoking. Just, I guess, really predicted it to be a Scarf Darm, since obviously this is slower, unless he's also a Scarf Nidoking himself. Which in that case, that'd be a pretty interesting set. But anyways, he's forced to switch out here, as he predicts that and he clicks Mega Horn, so Josh is really playing aggressive for the first couple turns, but that Mega Horn did absolutely nothing, and Brett makes a good play here to click U-turn and get the initiative. But at this point, I don't understand this play, And I say so in the chat if you're reading the side, but he has a already for the most part confirmed Scarf Darmanitan in the back. So he right now he has Josh in this U-turn cycle that he can use to just constantly get initiative, and obviously with mons like Hoopa Unbound, he can really break apart his team. So to go right into Hoopa Unbound on a Weavile is a really interesting play, and Josh realizes that Scarf Hoopa might not be the greatest set to bring versus his team, so he's gonna really just blow this thing away if X Scissor in the game, and just like that, one of Brett's biggest win contests now just added away, as he now goes into Darmanitan, which was a play he should have made in the first place, but to no avail. Brett is now down 5-6, as he sees this as a great advantage to go into his Mega Ampharos, but this is when the game really starts to get a bit confusing. He goes for agility straight up here, as he could have clicked T-Bolt and got this thing out of the way, but wait, there's more. He clicks Hidden Power, I'm assuming ground, and fails to take this thing out of the way. Now this thing is just pure water, so now T-Bolt isn't going to kill, as this thing now recovers up, and just when you think it can get worse, he's going to switch now into the Rotom Heat, as that does 0, because now he's not an electric type. He Volt Switches here, gets a super effective Volt Switch on the Mega Ampharos, which is actually fucking hilarious, as he clicks HP, I guess now looking at it, it's probably HP Water, but oh well. As now he clicks Focus Blast and misses, and now the electric type gets paralyzed as a water type, who no longer has his pure stab. So this is just not, this has been the worst set of plays. Not by Brett, don't get me wrong. Like when I say worse, I just mean like they can't get any worse. I thought Jarret's was bad, but this is just horrible. As at this point, he just gets the rocks up and he misses another Focus Blast. But when you're paralyzed, it's bound to be a main possibility. As now he goes into the Rotom Heat and he finally lands a a Volt Switch. As Brett shoots to save this thing, and he doesn't really have any Volt Switch immunities anymore. As Josh has no reason to not click Volt Switch, and at this point, he's going to go into his Weavile, and this proves to be Colbur, but this will still die, because Weavile, as a life forward Pokemon, is just that strong. He now goes back into Pound My Meat, the Darmanitan. At this point, he's going to go into the Pyukumuku, because Pyukumuku has done its job for the most part. He's more than willing to sack it at this point. And worst case scenario, he's able to get some more screens. If he fails to just click, let's say he just clicked Rapid Spin and failed to kill it, you can get a screen up, and that would be really good for Josh's part. As at this point, Brett is able to save the 6-0, which is always fantastic because you hate to see 6-0s because it's just embarrassing. As at this point, he proves to be a Scarf from Heat because Brett did show me that this was a really offensive Tentacruel, and that just shows that he's definitely a Scarf from Heat. As Latios gets that thing out of the way, and at this point, Josh has his game in the bag. With Miltank, Darmanitan cannot break Miltank. With Darmanitan cannot break Miltank. Klefki can't do anything, I'm guessing, and Ampharos has to hit this Focus Blast to try to get this thing out of the way, but to no avail. It fails to do so, and at this point, excuse me, Miltank can kind of win the game by itself once it paralyzes the Darmanitan. At this point, Josh realizes that his Miltank isn't going to beat this thing, so he's going to make the smart offensive play, go into Nidoking, because typically this thing can't touch Nidoking unless this has like, the best thing it can do is like Magnet Rise and maybe hope it doesn't have fire coverage. But to no avail, Nidoking is going to get the 2 KO. He's going to go back into Pound My Meat, and he's going to go into the Miltank. Flitter Blitz is just going to bounce off this thing. It does 26%, which is insane. And in a couple turns, the game will definitely be a 5-0 in Josh's favor. So Josh, starting off with a great start, 5-0 win, which if I'm not mistaken was the biggest differential win of the Magear Week 1 matches, which is definitely good for Josh to get off on a really great start. Brett, on the other hand, not the greatest way you can start off your IPA season 7-6 debut, excuse me. Definitely, he could definitely bounce back though. He has a really good team. He has a really great partner with Horrors actually, so he can definitely hope to bounce back and get a 1-1 start next week. As the next opponent, next 2 players are my boys, Hunter and King. And up to this game, I actually don't remember the last time either one of them played a Pokemon League match. So this is obviously a good way to get the rust off their system. As Kingsicle, aka known as King, also known as, I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, aka King, has a really scary team with Mega Alt and Victini, with P2, who, if you guys know me personally, I absolutely love this Pokemon. This Pokemon can do everything and can do anything. Without any doubt, this Pokemon is possibly one of the best Pokemon I've ever touched. And yeah, very scary team on King's part. And Hunty obviously with the Zam, Heatran, Scrafty as an interesting choice. My boy Golbat, Rotom, and Azu. So a pretty interesting pair of teams on both of their parts. So let's get into it in 3, 2, 1, and go. So Hunter's going to start off by leading with the Golbat, as Hunter leads off with the Rotom. Golbat's going to get the initiative by dropping a Toxic, and since it's a poison type, it obviously can't miss. So now King has one of his best defensive mons poisoned, as this thing absolutely ate that Volt Switch like it was its damn breakfast. So Hunter definitely off to a very favorable start, but King realizes that this thing isn't going to stand, so he gets essentially free Rocks up, as Hunter now realizes that knockoff is now a pretty safe option here, as he's able to get rid of leftovers. As in come the two Rotoms, as he predicts the Volt Switch, and now the two Rotoms at one point were definitely on the same field at the same time, so that's pretty cool. As he goes into the Victini, and Victini definitely forces a fair amount of pressure, but he's going to go into Azumarill, and he now has a lot of offensive pressure on King after that sequence play, so good plays on Hunter's part. As King is going to send out the P2, gets play rough, then knocked off, and he's going to fire off a T-Bolt, do a good amount of damage, and Hunter actually fails to kill with Waterfall. I guess he didn't want to risk the play rough miss, which was fair play on Hunter's part, as he definitely just puts this thing in range of any move from anything, as the Alakazam will just pick it up with the Psychic. And right here, this is a really cool set right here by a Hunter, as Alakazam is slower than this thing, and not because it's Scarf, but because you click counter. And just like that, Scissor's gone. So really good play on Hunter's part. I'm not sure if he just hard read the pursuit, but like during prep, but that was absolutely excellent. Definitely one of the best sets. Definitely one of the best, I guess, sequence of plays by an opponent. And ironically enough, Hunter has a great set of plays later down this game, as you'll see. As the two Rotoms back in the field at the same time once again, because, you know, memes, as he Volt Switches once again, and at this point Hunter really has no switch into his Victini, and he's going to let his Rotom go down because it's really not that important to the rest of this game, and he realizes that. And Hunter's not going to make the switch into his Scrafty and click DD. It forces the Altaria to attack, which is a good play on this part, because now he gets to switch into his Heatran, as this thing is now forced to click return. And at this point, Hunter is either bluffing that he's Scarf for Flash Cannon, or he's bluffing the fact that he shook a berry with modded Flash Cannon, and that would probably send this thing packing. So King is going to take the bait, because as you're going to see, that's anything but, as he's going to go into the Rotom, as he clicks Stealth Rock instead of actually clicking Flash Cannon. So he not only did he understand that he was going to save this Pokemon, but he clicks Rocks instead of actually the offensive move. And next turn, he's going to click Bloom Doom and send his Rotom packing. So this thing is now gone. So again, a great set of plays by Hunter. Definitely one of the best of the week. So props to him. Props to him by far. But King is anything but out of this game yet, as he blows away this thing with an HP ground. And at this point, Hunter realizes that he can live anything but a Focus Blast most likely, as he eats that. And he sets up a DD. And at this point, he's able to put on a lot of offensive pressure on King's team, as Landorus is definitely in range of Ice Punch, especially after that Moxie. And this thing is actually going to eat this Ice Punch like it's its damn job, and it lives on 4%, and this thing is now going to die to a return. He actually ended up being Rosalie Berry, which is, you know, always fun, because I love saying Rosalie Berry. Rosalie Berry is actually the coolest berry name by far, but at this point, Hunter's just going to clean up with Alakazam, and that'll be a good game. So very well played by both players, as this proves to have HP Ice on the Xamadus isn't Yachi or Scarf, so there you go. Very well played by Hunter. Obviously, those two set of plays definitely put him into a spot to definitely put him into a winning position. So, very well played by Hunter. And King, obviously, he is an IPA champion himself, and he's definitely hoping to potentially regain his playoff gains of glory after he had a really great second half season after he picked up Mega T-Tar. So, we'll see if Mega Ult can do the job for him. So next is Marcus versus Tristan. Marcus is a guy with the mana-free winds, and as well as some other Pokemon, pretty good Pokemon. Yeah, make a camera up. This beast in itself, let me tell you. And freaking Tristan, he has the Mega Lop, which he has proven to show lots of love to over the past couple seasons. Last season he even had Mega Lop because I lost to it. I remember that for sure. Because I thought a defensive Swadloon could beat it, but he proved to have sub, and I was like, well, what can you do? So very threatening teams on both players' parts. So this will definitely be a very entertaining game. So without further ado, let's get into the game on 3, 2, 1, and boom. So Tristan is going to start with leading off with the Tapu Fini just to get a free Nature's Madness off on something, I'm guessing. As he gets a free 50% off on the Snorlax. And this Earthquake, I'm guessing this is banded, but that did so much damage. Like, I know that was a crit, but that's not stabs. Like, to do 64% is insane. And at this point, he predicts Tristan to go into the Hydreigon, which is a really good play on this part. For sure, as he's able to get a free 16% off here with the Rocky Helmet. So he's definitely chipping down this Hydra really well, which is really good for Marcus, as he goes for a Wish here. So he's going to go into the Manaphy and realize that there's not much this thing can really do to really hurt it after the Wish. So now the Manaphy is just going to go for a straight Surf, which is interesting. As he clicks Thunder Punch, and the Manaphy is now weakened, which isn't really good because now it's definitely in range of any move from any strong move at that. I mean from Lopunny, which isn't the best. But anyways, he now goes into the Thunders as he goes into Tapu Fini. I actually don't understand this play by Tristan, but it really worked out for Marcus's favor since he now has the advantage, and he's gonna get a free sub up here, as you'll see. But Tristan's not gonna go into the man, the myth, the legend, known as Fisk, as Stunfisk is just gonna stay in here, watch the thing, think up some nasty thoughts. His discharge will easily break a sub, and hit power Ice, since he is leftovers and not Life Orb, is going to not even to a KO Stunfisk, which is insane. Like, I actually can't believe that did so little. As it actually forces him to switch out, which is unbelievable. As he's going to go into the Mega Camera Up, so the legend of the two meme grounds are on the field at the same time, which is always fantastic. But Tristan realizes that Camera Up unfortunately cannot do too much to the Hydreigon, but this is a chance for free rocks for Marcus, as he definitely does get those rocks up, which is really good. It will definitely be good for chipping down his team. As it goes into Clefable, and this thing is giving him fits, as he's not letting Metagross smack this thing with a Meteor Mash, and he still has all 6 of his Mons, so this is definitely really good for Marcus. As you can see here, Marcus overpredicts a bit, as Tristan shows Brick Break over Hammer Arm, which is interesting. I guess he didn't want the speed drops, which is definitely really interesting. As he predicted Tristan to switch out, and Pursuit as a result just bounces off the Metagross, as he now clicks Meteor Mash and does 42% to a Thunders, which is awesome. As he stays in on the Thunderbolt, realizing he can live any hit, and just like that, the Thunders goes down. As he's going to go into Mana Free Winds, and at this point, he realizes Metagross did his job, so he's going to sack it off. As he now goes into the Lopunny, and he's just going to pick up a kill at this point because Lopunny kind of does what he does. As Marcus actually didn't know that my boy Hugh Hefner passed away, so he was able to find out right then and there. As at this point, the Stunfisk is not going to come back in. This thing just clicks Wish once again, so the Manaphy is actually going to get healed up, as he predicts him to not click Discharge, which is really aggressive play by Marcus, but the play he needs to make at this point in time. As he actually switches, because I guess he doesn't want to take too much damage. As a Stunfisk actually clicks Pain Split and heals up the camera, which is actually bonkers. And Marcus clicks Fire Blast. I guess he wanted to get major damage off on the Hydreigon if it decided to switch in. But Tristan, I guess he realized that this Pokemon isn't absolutely necessary to keep around anymore, so he drops a Toxic off, and at this point he's gonna click Pain Split, and this time actually gets some HP, but to no avail. Stunfisk will finally die to the crit. I don't know if it really mattered, but according to their last roll, it definitely would have just picked them off. And at this point, Mega Lopunny will get a kill once again because everything is in range of return. And now he's going to go into the Clefable, and this proved to be the most pivotal moment of the game because he predicted him to double. No, he predicted him to switch just straight up, as he goes into Manaphy trying to get some offensive pressure, and that fails, and the Manaphy, which was definitely one of his win cons, definitely dies, as you'll see. So now he's going to go into the Gengar, as Marcus clicks Sludge, Calm Mind, but to no avail. Sludge just sends this thing packing, and I thought this was Specs, but as you'll see, he reveals the Sucker Punch, gets a crit, and still fails to kill the Gengar, and he clicks Shadow Ball, gets a crit, and that sent it packing, and that's a good game for Tristan. 4-0 win against Marcus, who is also debuting in his debuting in Magear, since he was in Minior last season, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, I think he might have actually been a Magear. He was a Magear. I'm a sad person. My bad. But yeah, very well played by Tristan for sure. That's definitely the start I would expect out of Tristan, and the start that he definitely played with, as he definitely played really well on the double on the Clefable. He really realized that he needed to get some offensive pressure with the Manaphy, and he predicted that, and that pretty much won him the game at that point. So yeah, good game to Tristan, good game to Marcus. Marcus will surely bounce back, and Tristan, maybe he'll continue to show some dominance. And now we're into definitely the best game of the week. Freaking Lou versus Max. This was definitely one of the closest games of the entire week, if not the closest one, because to be fair, a lot of the matches this week were they weren't like huge losses, but they weren't down to the wire, if you get what I'm saying. But this one was definitely really close. And as you'll see in 3, 2, 1, and boom. So he's gonna start. Max is gonna start off at the top of Bulu as Lou leads off with the Rabombi. Clicks U-turn, shows off to be Life Orb. So this is definitely one of his win cons. He's gonna go into his Arcanine. Definitely his dedicated answer to Tapu Bulu, since Bulu, as if any of you all watch VGC, Arcanine is definitely one of the best counters too. So definitely no doubt that it will be the same in singles. He clicks Flare Blitz, and this shows to be a Protect Seed Tapu Bulu, which is it's definitely a decent set in stopping Arcanine, since you definitely just sap off its HP. And at this point, he goes into the T-Tars. He clicks Toxic, and he's not going to click Pursuit here. He's actually Max is going to click Crunch. Does a really decent amount of damage, and the Grassy Terrain will actually end this turn, and this will benefit Lou more than anything else, since obviously his Earthquakes are going to be at its peak right now, while also getting that Grassy Terrain recovery right then and there. And as you'll see, that definitely kind of helps him off, since he is a Life Orb Garchomp, as he shows off here. So that bit of HP basically puts him at almost 50%. Sylveon shows off the Protect, as he shows off the Poison Jab. So at this point, he could have predicted him to not go into the Tapu Bulu here, since he literally just showed Poison Jab. But Lou decides to play really safe. He clicks Poison Jab as he goes into the Gastrodon. Earthquake, Life Orb Earthquake might have 2-KO Gastrodon. I actually don't know the calcs off the top of my head, but Life Orb Garchomp is a strong Pokemon, so it might have had a chance. And at this point, Lou has to switch. He's going to go into his Beefy Crunch, as he's going to get burned here by the Scald, which is going to definitely hurt him later in the game, as you'll see. As Lou realizes this is a great chance for him to get his Stealth Rocks up, as that's what he chooses to do. And once again, Max isn't going to click Pursuit. I don't know if he has in this game, but he definitely realizes that Crunch is a really spammable move versus Lou's team. And that just smacks Blastoise, which is definitely impressive for sure. And at this point, he's going to click the Ice Beam, which is an interesting play. Maybe predict the Bulu, because that wouldn't have killed T-Type from where it was at. So maybe he was predicting, I guess he predicted the middle ground play of the Gastrodon. And at this point, Max makes the great play and scouts for the HP Grass. And what's kind of funny, this HP Grass is boosted due to the Grassy Terrain, which I find hilarious. And as you'll see, he doesn't take a lot from the HP Grass, so Tapu Bulu showing to be a little more of a bulky set. And at this point, he gets to pressure Lou really hard with Wood Hammer. Even though he has the Arcanine, that still takes 37% from what I presume to be not a very offensive Bulu, unless it's like max HP, max attack. And now he's going to go into the Gastrodon, as Lou clicks his Flare Blitz, so Gastrodon is able to get a free switch in while getting Leftovers and Grassy Terrain, which is really good, because unless his Arcanine has HP Grass, he's able to get a free recover off here. That's exactly what he chooses to do. And Lou is able to understand that he's not going to just send this, let things stay in here on an HP Grass. So he clicks Ice Beam, making the middle ground play, as that does a decent amount of damage to Gallade. And at this point, he wants to save his Blastoise, so he's going to go into the Bronzong Malzadong, the Bronzong himself, aka he also likes to call it Beefy Crunch, to Taco Bell. And as you'll see, this is a SD sub Gallade, and since he is burned, none of his moves are actually going to break sub, because I believe he's Heavy Slam, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see here. Yeah, he was Heavy Slam, which if he wasn't burned, that would definitely break a sub. So the burn proving to bite Lou in the ass, as at this point he's going to not only be +2 behind the sub and healthy, but he is yeah, he's behind the sub. So he clicks U-turn here because he realized he took the Heavy Slam damage, so therefore he'll definitely be able to kill him off with the U-turn. Ice Punch at +1 to an Arcanine, kills it, which is funny, as now he gets a Rabombi is now going to show off that it is a force to be reckoned with, as Life Orb Moonblast will actually claim a kill here, as he now goes on the Gastron, and he's going to click U-turn, which I find interesting, because he's actually lowering himself lower and lower to where Life Orb might actually come into play later in the game, which I don't necessarily agree with, but he's able to get chip at the same time, so I guess it's working out for him. As Lou actually kind of overpredicts clicks, and he clicks HP Ice, predicting the Flygon, as now he clicks Grassland and blows this thing away, so now it's a 4-4 game. He goes back into the Mega lead, and it's going to claim a kill at this point, as he is forced to sack his Thunderous Tea, and now it's 4-3, and this is getting down to the wire. So as you can see from his team, he has absolutely no switch-ins to a Moonblast, so he has to pick a sack, and he's going to choose that sack to be Tyranitar, since, to be fair, it really did not have any chance of killing anything with anything at this point. So he sacks it off. Rabombi now goes down to 45% with Life Orb and Sand. Bulu now comes in, and Lou once again is going to click U-turn, which, like I said, I don't completely agree with, since it's putting him lower and lower. And since he has Life Orb and their stand up, that might not be the best play in the world, as he's going to click Woodhammer, go down to 38%. As Lou goes into his Rabombi, and I guess he kind of forgot that he had Protect, and that Protect, I'm guessing from what Lou does here, puts him in range of where he doesn't die to Moonblast, which is a really, really great position for Max, since he now gets to claim a kill with Woodhammer once again. And Garchomp now dies, so now it's Rabombi versus the world. Can Rabombi pick up the win for Lou, as this is now definitely in range of any attack from the Rabombi except for U-turn, obviously. As he's going to click Protect, and this actually allows for Lou to gain some HP. So now he actually doesn't die to 2 Life Orb hits. He lives at 2%. And Max was thinking that he had choked, but looking at the since he was guaranteed Grassy Terrain recover anyways, I don't think it really mattered. But Rabombi is actually going to outspeed the last 2 Pokemon, and he's going to live with an 8%. And just like that, it's going to be a 1-0 win on Lou's part. So Lou proving that Rabombi is not a force to be reckoned with. Shout out to Brian, aka B Nasty, obviously named after this Rabombi, and this Pokemon just put the team on. He put the entire team on his back, and he won the entire game. So shout out to Rabombi, definitely the MVP of the week, and definitely an absolutely fantastic game by both players. So great game on their part. So next we're going to move on to the IPA Magear champion, freaking fuck. We look like an idiot right now, but Cole versus Matt, the commissioner of the IPA. So this is definitely really big matchup, as Matt believes that there is a curse, and that typically when he makes it to a championship game, he just absolutely flops his week 1 game. So to say the very least, he does not have any confidence in this game, because he believes that the curse is 100% real, and he's playing a really good opponent to start off the season, so that doesn't really help either. Cole looking really, really threatening. He has Zygarde once again, and he also has, Volcarona, Mega Dancy. I'm assuming it's Mega Dancy. I don't actually remember, but I'm pretty sure he'll show it off in the game. Yeah, very scary team, and obviously Matt with definitely not the most overwhelming team, but definitely full of threats. Anyways, it looks like it'll be a great matchup, so without further ado, let's get into the game in 3, 2, 1, and boom. So Matt's gonna lead off with the Nidoqueen, as Cole leads off with the Zygarde. This doesn't seem to be a Sugarberry Ice Beam Nidoqueen, and obviously he wasn't too afraid of that, as he clicks 1,000 arrows, and that does 27% to a Silvally Bug, which is always kind of funny to see that Silvally Bug was the Silvally that came around. As Cole makes an interesting play and decides to click Calm Mind, as Matt clicks Earth Sludge Wave, which if you clicked Earth Power, that looked like a kill, but I could be wrong. As at this point he clicks Earth Power, as he makes the aggressive play into Keldeo, and he obviously proves to be Scarf, and he kills the Diancie. So good set of plays by Matt for sure. As Zygarde, here comes Big Daddy Zygarde. Trust me, I know how good this Pokemon is to rain some terror. As he clicks Toxic, since this definitely seems to be like a banded Zygarde, so you always want Toxic for the annoying walls that'll try to counter it. Crit U-turn from a Silvally Bug, aka that stab, did 23%, which is actually bonkers. As Chandelure now comes in, and it decides to click Sub, And as you'll see, this is a sub Will-O-Wisp Chandelure. As you'll see, this burns the Umbreon, but which is as a result is actually going to avoid substitute from breaking, which is actually quite cool. But the only problem with this is that with Wish and it's looking like his only stab move is Shadow Ball. The Chandelure doesn't actually beat Umbreon 1v1. Umbreon actually beats it 1v1 before Chandelure beats it. So that's actually really sad to consider. As you're just gonna see a couple plays of Chandelure trying to beat an Umbreon with Shadow Ball, but to no avail. Umbreon is definitely going to fail at doing so. But as you can see, look at the teams. Cole's win cons are definitely the Volcarona and the Zygarde, and with Pokemon such as Umbreon, you're able to pass fat wishes into your walls or your utility Pokemon. And Matt at this point doesn't really have a great way of breaking down his wall core. Like Sneasel doesn't do a good job of doing so, Latios doesn't do a good job of doing so. His only real way is Keldeo, which could definitely put in some work. As Sneasel finally comes in, he's not going to go into the Ferrothorn, as Icicle Crash does a decent amount, does 34%, but to no avail. That would definitely not 2-hit KO unless he goes for the flinch. As Cole just gets up his rocks, predicting him to switch, which is a good play on Cole's part. And at this point, he's going to scout for the HP Fire, but he chooses to click Defog, so the rocks are now gone. So just like that, you have seen a Defog Mega Latios. Not every day you get to see that. But he now switches as the Umbreon gets off the Heal Bell, so this thing is no longer burned. So this thing is just now a big pain for Matt to deal with, as he stays under Protect because he realizes that Keldeo is Scarf, so you can scout for what move he goes for. He goes for the Icicle Crash, and that does absolutely nothing. And he can really just wish Protect on this thing all day long, as he actually clicks Protector instead of Wish, so now this thing is a little less healthy than it could be, but that'll definitely be okay for Matt. As he clicks Toxic here, he's just trying to get a status up on this Umbreon, but 1000 Arrows is going to come out and do 69% to his Latios, which is absolutely insane. As he's now forced to switch because Draco Meteor / Dragon Pulse is definitely a thing that can come out. And now Cole makes again the double to scout for the HP Fire. This time it works out, so good set of plays by Cole to be patient with the Latios and make sure he doesn't make any plays that are out of place. He wants to make sure he plays safe because he definitely has the upper hand despite him being down 5-6, if I had to say so myself. Starmie now comes in for absolutely free, and he gets to fire off a Scald, and he gets to pick off the Sneasel. So just like that, Sneasel is now gone. That's one of the things which could kind of break down Sneasel if you got a couple flinches I should say, but Matt is really now down to 1, and that's the Keldeo. As Cole makes an awkward play as he clicks Recover. For some reason, like he should have known he was going to outspeed a defensive Silvally, but to no avail. He doesn't click anything, and Zygarde comes in, and Silvally is now at full, so he has to. So Cole realizes that this is just 100% setup bait for Volcarona, and when you get Volcarona a free chance for setup, it's no bueno. But Cole makes a really weird play and clicks Giga Drain, which honestly that was not the play to make, but Matt made the horrible play and he went into Keldeo, so it worked out for him. Why Matt didn't just go into Chandelure, it beats me, as he now clicks Quiver Dance, and I don't understand why Matt is switching. He now goes into Silvally Bug, and at this point, you may want to try to get the Flash Fire boost on the Chandelure, but Silvally drops to a Fury Dance, so there goes your Zygarde counter, and at this point, it's looking like Zygarde's about to sweep, as you can see, Bug Buzz at plus 2 to 20%, so Matt at this point sacked his win con against Umbreon and Silvally Bug for no reason. So at this point, it's not looking any good. Cole at this point just needs to look for the right opportunity to get his Zygarde in, and it's going to be a good game. He sacks his Starmie to the Draco Meteor, and now he's going to go into his Volcarona. He goes into a Chandelure, and he realizes that, and he goes into Zygarde, and just like that, he's going to force a tremendous amount of offensive pressure, essentially pick up a kill. As he actually goes into his Latios Mega, I guess he thought he would live, but he actually gets a really high roll there and kills him. And he's going to end up outspeeding the Nidoqueen and the Chandelure. He's going to bop them both with 1000 Arrows, and that's going to be a good game. So a 4-0 win on Cole's part. Throughout the entire game, Cole was able to control Matt and make sure he was in a good position to just win the game. So really well played on Cole. Definitely showing that he deserves to be a Magear. Really well played. And Matt, it's the curse. What can you do about it, buddy? You'll bounce back. I have no doubt about that. Anyways, the last game of the week is Flame Dog 3, aka just Flame. He's really good friend of mine. I've been friends with him since he was a sophomore. I think he was ending his sophomore. No, he was in junior year in high school. Now he's a sophomore in college, and I'm a senior in high school. I was a freshman when I first met him, so kind of crazy. As my voice is kind of giving out, and I don't have any water with me, so it's okay. We'll make it. We'll make it. So he's going up against Michael, aka Zinnia's main squeeze, and I believe he's a mod as well. He's a really great, genuine guy. He's actually married, served in the military, so definitely major respect to him. I respect him a lot. If you're watching this, I respect you, buddy. I really do. Anyways. His team is definitely consistent of ground spam with Zygarde, Dog, and Mamoswine. You have Foragers for hazards, Galvantula for webs, and Volcanion and Mew for... Volcanion for general special attacking, wall breaking, and Mew for whatever you want to do. Literally. Excuse me. Okay, I should be fine. So, definitely a really cookie cutter team from Michael for the most part. And Flame, a lot of these mons he's definitely been used before. He's definitely used them before, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I definitely recognize Major Minor to Milotic. Definitely recognize Icy Hot to Kyurem. He actually franchised in the ICO. He loved it so much. So I definitely know he loves that Pokemon. Gliscor he's really familiar with as a defensive mon. Anyways, yeah, Flame is he's really familiar with Gliscor as a defensive Pokemon. He's used Mega Gardevoir before, and he's definitely used Zapdos before to good success. Cobalion is an interesting mon. I've never seen him use Cobalion, and I've seen him use quite a bit of Pokemon. So I'm definitely interested to see how he uses Cobalion during the season. So, without further ado, let's just get into the game in 3, 2, 1, and boom. Okay, so we get Michael's leading off with the Mew, as Flame leads off with the Gardevoir. Hyper Voice 2 kills the Mew, and Shadow Ball fails the 2 KO to Gardevoir. So just with that, Flame is in an amazing advantageous spot, as he just kills the Mew turn 2, which is fantastic because seeing Mew gone is always the best thing you could possibly do. As at this point, he's going to go into Zygarde, and he's going to go into his Gliscor, and this definitely shows to not be a banded Zygarde. It may be a Coil set, maybe a Z-move set, I have no idea. As at this point, he's going to go into his Cobalion, as this thing clicks Earthquake, and even though this is Sugar Berry, this does a lot of damage, so I thought, wow, is this banded? And then he clicks Volt Switch, and he goes into the Gliscor, and I realize that he clicks Stealth Rock. I'm like, what in the world is this set? And then this turn he clicks Knock Off, and he knocks off the Earth Plate, so I'm like, oh, interesting. So, at this point, rocks are on both sides, and Michael realizes he does not have Taunt, so he can just get up as much hazard as possible. As Flame gets a crit here, but it doesn't really matter because he clicks Garaball anyways. So I don't think it mattered in the long run. I don't think it mattered at all. So now Mamoswine's going to come in, and it's going to essentially pick up a kill because this thing is a monster and a half. As Michael makes a good play, and he clicks Earthquake here, predicting the Gliscor to switch. So definitely the play he needs to make sure Cobalion doesn't force any offensive pressure. As he's going to go into the Milotic now, as he clicks Earthquake, as he's willing to take the Scald, and he doesn't get burned, and at this point he's going to overpredict here really badly, and the Milotic survives the Ice Cold Crash rather easily, clicks Recover, then he clicks Earthquake, fails to kill him, and the Milotic kills the Mamoswine. So definitely a very unnecessary set of plays, since hazards were up, the Milotic wouldn't have a chance to do much of anything. So to see him try to kill him off right then and there was not the best set of plays in my opinion. But as a result, Flame is now up, and the Galvantula is going to come in and miss the Thunder with the Compound Eyes. So not pulling through for Michael is that, as Galvantula is now going to click the Light Screen as he clicks Mirror Code. So that was very funny, as now he clicks Thunder, and Flame gets paralyzed, but he doesn't break through. I mean, he does break through, but he doesn't click Mirror Code. So definitely a very interesting set of plays there by Michael and Flame, to say the very least, as Milotic will now die to a Thunder. And next is Icy Hot, and Icy Hot, even though there is a Light Screen up, is definitely going to blow away this Galvantula with a Draco Meteor, because this thing is a monster and a half. As Kyurem picks up its first kill of the season for Flame, definitely expects it to be in the first game as well. As now Zapdos is going to come in, as if Volcanion clicks Flame Charge, so this is definitely one of his win cons, and I definitely know late game Volcanion is a great sweeper if you're able to get a Flame Charge up, just because it's so strong. As now he clicks Steam Eruption, and he eats a Thunderbolt, but unfortunately if this thing was just a little bit lower, he can actually click Flame Charge here and probably outright win the game right then and there. but to no avail. This Kyurem is going to come in and just outspeed the Volcanion and click Earth Power and get rid of him. Obviously, he doesn't have D-Pulse, or he would have clicked there, so he can't just go for Draco Meteor. But I mean, honestly, -2 Draco Meteor might have just blown away the Zygarde, but I don't know the calcs. I could be wrong. As Zygarde proves to indeed be a coil set, and Gliscor really can't do too much to this. He can drop a Toxic, but if Zygarde can get some good crits, he could potentially bring the game back by himself. As at this point, Gliscor is not going to heal up all the way back to full, but this 1000 arrows is going to do a lot of damage. It actually almost 2 kills Gliscor. But at this point, Flame realizes that toxic damage is going to get the job done, so he's going to sack Kyurem to the hazards. Zygarde's going to fail to kill anybody, so that just he fails to get a stat in the stat sheet. He goes into Gliscor, and now he's going to go into the Gardevoir, sack Gardevoir, and Zygarde will die to Toxic this turn, and that will be a 1-0 win in Flame's favor. So if not for Toxic, I'm pretty sure he got swept at the end. So really well played by Flame. And just like that, those are all the Magear matches. That definitely lasted longer than I thought it was going to, but it's alright. To anybody who's still watching this, thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment on what I could do to make this video better, and that's all for me. So well played to all the opponents who played this week, and I'll be seeing you this week for week 2, so au revoir and peace.